ready? I'm not really. uh, every time the keynotes make me nervous because of the long trip from Japan. It took me 34 hours. Yeah, but yeah, I was here. I came here successfully. Yeah, maybe you may remember when I when we had Euruko in Krakow, Poland. Uh, I missed the flight. Yeah, I'm very glad it didn't happen this time. Okay, have you ever heard of the word triathlon? Yeah, the three in law, like running, the biking, and then the swimming. But in Japanese community, Japanese Ruby community, triathlon has different meaning this year. We had three different conferences here in Europe: Rails World, Fundry LB, and this Euroco. And since Japan is far away from here, so there are some brave people attended all three conferences happened in September this month. And have you ever tried triathlon? This kind of triathlon? Did you know? Oh, there he is. Oh, there he is. Wonderful. I very very wonderful. But the popularity, at least the count, measuring by the number of the conference of the Ruby popularity is grown dramatically recently. That's wonderful. And yeah, I missed the other two conferences though. But I'm here in Euruko. This is one of my favorite conference. And this year we had in Viana the Castelo, and I've heard Castelo means the castle. So I wear the Matsumoto castle T-shirt. This is my castle. Not really, but then here they say the heart of cold, and then yeah, look at that show, drumming and bagpipes, and you know, yeah, I enjoyed a lot. Now, you people teach me how to enjoy life, and then probably we Japanese must learn something from it. And instead, I will tell you about different things, my favorite things. I love many favorite things, including this conference and the show. But let me show you some of my favorite things. My best favorite things is programming language, not only Ruby, but every programming language. Uh, I started programming in BASIC. It stands for the Beginner's All-Purpose Symbolic Instruction Code. And when I was 15 years old, and on pocket computer like this. This is a real computer I used when I was 15 years old. It is more than 40 years old. That means. And since this computer is this big, very small, the basic on this computer was very, very limited version of basic. Uh, one letter variable, 26 total, all global, no symbolic label, line number only. And it runs the 400 steps, almost lines, uh, of code at most. And then naturally, I felt frustrated and all. But I didn't know anything about the programming other than other programming environment. So that I just frustrated, and I thought the programming is the things everyone stands had to stand this kind of frustration. But at the local bookstore, I I saw and I bought a book on the programming language named Pascal. Do you remember Pascal? Yeah, 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 you old guys. So after reading that book, I felt some kind of enlightened. The Pascal has a far better syntax than the basic, the far better abstraction, and it has user-defined functions. Just can just be able to we can call it as just like the built-in functions, and you can define your own data structures, and you can do the some kind of recursion. This that is far better programming language. So that I found out so that there are so many programming languages out there. I only knew basic at the time, but I found that there are many other programming languages out there, and the Pascal is one of them. C is one of them, and then there are many other programming languages, and then some of them are far superior than basic. My basic, I mean. So that, and in addition, every programming language are invented. You know, no, I think no one invented Portuguese, right? But every programming language are invented by human being with ideas and goals and intention. So that the idea struck me when I was, I don't remember, maybe 17 me. Why can't I create my own programming language? And I was 17 years old. That was my high school dream. But there were problem. One problem is that it was early 80s. There was no internet.
Yes.
We cannot Google it. And the open source software is not there. No, the term open source software is created in 1997. 1998. So that there were no open source software. So I went to the bookstore. I read the book on the title, the compiler, but that was the university computer science textbook. It's too hard for me, and there were no other the textbook materials, and so that I have a dream. I had a dream. I had an intention. I had passion, but I have no knowledge, no experience. So that it took me 10 years to create my own programming language. I told you I was 17 when I got the idea. And I was 27 when I started Ruby. So the programming language, for me, this is kind of connecting dots. That I'm very interested in the psychology and the human engineering and the human recognition. At the same time, I love programming. I love programming for last 40 something years. I never regret. I enjoy it every day. And I'm interested in language too, and not only in programming language, but the language in general. Unfortunately, I'm not talented, so that I can only speak Japanese and English. I wish I could speak Portuguese, but I'm interested in languages. So that the programming language is the crossing point of these yeah, my passions, my ideas. The programming language is my love. So that I love every programming language, even basic, even PHP, even TypeScript. I don't know about that. And then in the next one is object-oriented programming language. Uh, in 80s, there was very limited resource to learn object-oriented programming language. But I read about the programming language named Smalltalk and fell in love with the idea and the design of the language. It is a better abstraction. What? I made a mistake in slides. I length a dot length. That whatever whatever a is, you can take the length of the dot object. You don't have to know about what kind of object that is. You don't have to know the internal structure of the a object, but you can just tell object, tell me your length, and it tells me. Then, yeah, I love programming. Programming is my joy. It's a kind of complicated. The programming is joy because we have the joy of creation. By programming, we can create something out of nothing. And then joy of design. You can make decision. What is good software? What is good design? What is convenient tool we can provide? And then you can enjoy the power from the programming. And then if you create something software, your service, your hobby programs, but you will feel some kind of satisfaction. You feel power. Okay, I can create something. It's kind of the creation. You can create your world. Let there be light. There was light. Then I entered into the university. I got the internet connection. And then I met with free software. The open source software. The term open source software is not embedded. The free software is a free as in freedom, not free as in free beer. Yeah, it is distributed free of charge normally, but you can charge. The point is freedom. You can free to use the software. You are free to learn out of the software. You can modify the software. You're free to redistribute the software. This is the basic freedom of software. That was great. I can read software from the professional, the production level, robust software. In the textbook, we have a lot of programming textbook, but we have some example software. It is small, it is easy, it is understandable, but not for real world use. But in free software, we can learn the software we use daily. Everyone can use. It is robust. It is production level. We can learn anything from the software. I learned programming through reading free software source code like Emacs or many Lisp interpreters and the Moria, which is the roguelike game. So I owe free software. So that when I was in university, I made some decision which is if I create a software and it is it is, I have all copyrights, so that I will set my free software with free licenses. That's why Ruby is free software. The freedom is very important. Free will is important. And information wants to be free. So I have to free the verb, free software. So that, you know, I'm not the free fighter, freedom fighter, so that I don't take other software to force them free, but instead I create software and I really distributed my software in free licenses, so that everyone, including me, can enjoy the freedom of software. Yeah, the freedom is very, very, very important. Oh, then performance. I like performance. Actually, every programmer loves performance. Yeah, everyone loves micro benchmarks. But my preference, the joy is more important than performance. As a result, Ruby is hard to optimize. Yeah. These days, the core VM is maintained by the other guys. I only design the language, and other people implement it. They sometimes complain about, okay, Ruby is so hard to optimize. The Ruby is so hard to improve the performance. But the in the age of 1.8, the Ruby is known as a slow language. But in 2007, Yob, which stands for the yet another Ruby virtual machine, the other guy named Coach Sasada came to me, and he said, I created the Ruby virtual machine, which is far, far faster than your interpreter. Can I replace? That is a hard decision for me. I love programming. Ruby is my language. I created Ruby. I implemented every corner of the Ruby except for accepting some patches from the community. But replacing virtual machine is the different story. You know, I had to give up the very core of the language. This is a hard decision for me. But okay, but uh, but then I look back, and then okay, I'm not really talented. I'm not talented to create fast software, but probably I'm talented to create good good language and a grammar and the design. Okay, maybe it is time to pass the untalented part to other. So that we replaced and released 1.9. So that at that time we made a transition to Ruby 1.8 to 1.9. The Ruby became faster by a factor of 3 to 50 in some benchmarks. So that Ruby became the faster programming language. Some years later, the Ruby 3.1, which is kind of recent, the Shopify people came in, and I created a JIT compiler named YJIT. And then can I merge this JIT compiler to your Ruby, the core? And then probably this is far easier than the real decision for me. And probably I think it must be the tough decision for the Koichi, who is in charge of the YARP, because the big part of the YARP core is represented by JIT compiler. Anyway, by introducing the JIT compiler, Ruby is made faster. So that compared to the Ruby 2.0, the Ruby 3 will be 3 times faster in some benchmarks. And then the Ruby is even faster. That's nice. And then last year, the same Shopify people came in and then, can I replace the JIT compiler with ZZ? What? uh, it is kind of interesting. The YJIT is the algorithm used the basic building ver- versioning, basic bulk versioning, named basic bulk versioning. But the the most of the computer science textbook, JIT compiler, the method JIT compiler is explained in the most computer science textbook. So that if we replace the algorithm of the JIT compiler, so that maybe more people would involve into the development of the new JIT compiler. And right now, the most of the work of YJIT and most of the recent ZJIT work is driven by the Shopify people. I really, really appreciate that. But it's open source. So we need more people. We need more people to involve in improving the performance of the Ruby VM. So that ZJIT introduced the higher level intermediate representation. Did I pronounce correctly? Intermediate, high level intermediate representation. That is the more chance to optimize. In addition, they are planning the native code caching beyond processes. That means the JIT compiler compiles the Ruby code. Yeah, actually, the Ruby code compiled into the YAR bytecode, compiled into the native code. Then run the native code. The Ruby program, the part of Ruby programs run in the speed of the native code. That's wonderful. But most of the time, we run the same Ruby programs again and again and again. That means the Ruby virtual machine, JIT compiler in it, that compiles same Ruby code again and again, probably millions of times. So that if we compile the same Ruby program, same YAR bytecode, that we can save the result of the JIT compilation. We can skip the whole compilation step. That'll be brilliantly fast. So that they're working on it. So that if we did successfully, this is just idea yet. And if we implemented the ZZ with the cache beyond processes, that'll be even faster Ruby. The by these compilers, Ruby is one of the fast programming. Okay, probably beat by the V8, the virtual machine from in the Chrome, because in Google, the hundreds of people with the PhD working on it, and to improve the performance. Or maybe we will be beat by the JVM, which is the people, the thousands of people with PhD is working on the improving the JIT compiler in IBM, Oracle, and many other companies. But at least we are one of the fast programming language and on the VM based. So that we can even improve the performance of the Ruby programming. And I don't expect it to happen this Christmas. Maybe some Christmas some years later, but we will improve the performance. I love performance. Unix. I love Unix. When I went in university, I mean Unix and Unix philosophy. And the Unix philosophy is make each programs do one thing well and allow combination of these tools. That's nice. That's freedom. We can combine many tools to fit your specific task. That's wonderful. But the Unix philosophy has some kind of drawback. That is impedance mismatch. So that having, you know, each programs do one thing well, but that means that we have so many small languages in the Unix tool chains. We have awk, and we have, some small programs, and we have a lot of options. Remember, the find program has so many options, and that is hard to remember. And every time I use find programs, and I have to read the man very, very carefully. And those options, those small languages, are very, designed by different people in different philosophy and different ideas. And that is learning, hundreds of small languages. That is kind of tough. Then came into the Pearl, which is the some kind of the kitchen sink approach. The kitchen sink approach is kind of opposite of the Unix approach. So that allow one language has many tools. I mean, the functions and the methods, and then you can do them. Each method, each object can do the one thing very well. And you can combine those libraries, those objects, those functions uh, to in one language, one syntax. That's a nice idea. And I inherited that kind of idea from Perl. So that Ruby is kind of object-oriented Unix things. Maybe you may have a hard time running Ruby programs on Windows because of the porting Ruby to Windows is kind of the porting subset of Unix into Windows. That was kind of tough. So the WSL helps us a lot. So that I really, really recommend run Ruby on WSL on Windows. Anyway, I love Unix. Uh, you know, in Railswell, DHH, promoted the Omachi, and that is Unix. And then, you know, okay, he finally found out Unix is wonderful. Anyway, Emacs. So the Emacs is not Unix. It's from MIT, not Bell Labs. And it's kind of yet another kitchen sink. I tried many editors after Emacs. I tried VI, Vim, VS Code, Cursor, Z, or whatever. And without any success. Yeah. Because Emacs binding is built in my body and brain. So I need Emacs binding to edit text. The recent browsers, text areas, sometimes understands the Emacs binding, but sometimes not. So when I press the Control A, they select everything. What? So that I even read and write email in Emacs, and even write email client in Emacs by myself. I use my own email client. Its front end is in Emacs Lisp. I wrote Emacs Lisp. And its back end is in Ruby. That's wonderful. Emacs rules. No, I'm not going to force you to use Emacs. I'd like to, but I'm not. But recently, I'm using the another editor, which names the Cloud Code. It's my new editor. I'm not a believer of the vibe coding. So now, AI cannot create the robust code yet. So now, when I ask, you know, the AI, say cloud, to create the Tetris, that's okay. But in production, probably you're not going to create Tetris yet again. That you are, as a professional programmer, of a serious programmer, you create the software no one has ever seen. You have to create new things. And then creating new things in a vibe coding is very hard. It's kind of random effect. Sometimes it does right, partially at least, but there's sometimes the AI would terribly wrong. So I use AI as an editor. I use AI as a planning tool, an editing tool, and a text generator. As a planning tool, so I'm sorry. Uh, I do some kind of the code investigation. So that as a programmer, I work on the mRuby, which is the alternative implementation of the Ruby language, written in C. And the since it is I don't know, maybe some thousands of lines of code in C. So that sometimes I had a hard time to understand what I did in the past. So that I sometimes ask to AI, say the cloud or Gemini, to understand the data structure of the behavior of the function of the my code. And then I used to I use AI to help understand my code. As an editing tool, I did a step by step instruction, not in the okay, implement this function. Okay, implement this function which does this and this and that. Or the okay, rename this function and every call sites of this function. So that in the very details, the concrete instruction, AI will do very much, and it's even handier than Emacs, unfortunately. And then so those kind of the refactoring is very good. The AI is a very good at. In addition, text generator. So that I hate writing English. Yeah, actually I hate speaking too. Yeah, I sometimes wish everyone in the world speak Japanese, but the reality is not. So I use AI to generate README and documents and comments and commit messages. Yeah, sometimes it does. It generates something weird, but I just tell you are wrong. uh, those kind of things. That yeah, my inner peace is increased by using AI, avoiding writing English in my programming. Last but not the least, I tell you my favorite old story from China, Sayo Gauma, which is a Japanese translation. But I ask ChatGPT to translate it in English. Old man and his horse. Let me read, read the translation. Uh, a long time ago in ancient China, there lived an old man. One day, his horse ran away. The neighbors came to comfort him, saying, "What bad luck?" But the old man simply said, "Maybe we'll see." Uh, some months later, this picture is generated by AI too. Some months later, the horse came back, And not only that, it brought another strong host with it, weapon. The neighbor said, "What good luck!" But again, the old man said, "Maybe we'll see." The old man's son loved the new horse and rode it often. But one day he fell off and broke his leg. Ouch. The neighbor said, "What bad luck?" But the old man calmly answered, "Maybe. We'll see." Later, a war broke out. All the young men were called to fight, and many of them died. But the old man's son, with his injured leg, was not taken to the battlefield. The neighbor said, "What good luck?" And the old man repeated, "Maybe we'll see." Oops. Ruby was invented in 1993 and made it in public in 1985. It is as old as Java right now. Java was the project of Java, which called named Oak, was started in 1993 and then made it in public in 1995. And then soon after I released it, everyone told me, "This is a wonderful programming language, so you must be a genius." Uh, Maybe we'll see. uh, but some people uh, evaluated Ruby high, but Ruby was unpopular for nearly 10 years until, Ruby on Rails. But okay, everyone in the computer science community back in Japan thought, "I know Ruby, I know your language, but I don't use it. I have power. Why other language?" Uh, so that, I created a great work programming language, but no one uh, used it seriously for nearly 10 years. What a bad luck. Maybe we'll see. Uh, 2004, Ruby on Rails was released, and it became surprisingly popular. Yeah, because of the probably charismatic characters of JBHH. And the Ruby on Rails booms, and the Ruby in so since 2005 to 2013, yeah, Ruby was nearly taking over the world. Okay, we see the Ruby on Rails boom. Well, what good luck? Maybe we'll see. But in the years after 2010, the programming languages started typing, like Rust, Go, or let's say TypeScript, or the PHP and Python added the type declaration to the language. So those languages are more popular than Ruby, which insistently refusing adding type declaration to the language. The Ruby become so relatively unpopular. In 2012, Ruby was eighth in the TOB index, which is the popularity language of the programming languages, eighth. But right now, Ruby is, I don't know, 18th, 23rd or something, which is, far lower in the programming language rank. What a bad luck. Maybe we'll see. But the year of AI, the the reading and the code reviewing is becoming more and more important. At that time, when AI will be smarter than the present day, the concise programming language will become popular, I believe. So that we see, we see the Ruby will be popular again. Maybe we'll see. No matter what they say, we keep moving forward. We keep moving forward. In the past, we have improved the programming language, the Ruby a lot. The replacing the virtual machine, the making it faster, adding JIT compiler, replacing JIT compiler again and again. We first introduced the MJIT, which is the portable JIT compiler, and very good at some benchmarks. But that first version of the JIT compiler makes Rails application slower. But we replaced the MJIT by YJIT, which is the JIT compiler from Shopify. For Shopify, the big company, it is very crucial about that the Ruby runs fast or not. So that they invested the smart people and to improve the performance and implement a better JIT compiler. So the YJIT makes our Rails application, Rails application, 10 to 20% faster. That was incredible. You know, when the company pays millions of dollars for the the servers on the cloud, the 10% matters. 10% matters. 20% even matters. That was wonderful. And they're trying to improve the JIT compiler even further. That is wonderful. The, that kind of improvement, the improving the language, improving the implementation, the making it fast, making it usable, making it stable, that is very important for us, no matter what they say. Ruby is getting better, no matter what they say. We will keep improving the language, keep making values. The value is more important than popularity. So that your company use Ruby, that's wonderful. Your company makes value and money. That is very wonderful. We keep making value because of the community, the great treasure of us. The Ruby is wonderful language, and its wonderfulness is mostly came out of community, not my talent. For developers' sake, for community's sake, for better world, I want you to enjoy programming, and I want you to make value out of the Ruby language, wonderful programming language. Hey, that is all for now. This talk and all of my activities are sponsored by the NSA company, which is the Japanese company who hired me for last 28 years, and OS Vision and other companies, which is also from Japan, and many companies make a contract with me and support me. And the GitHub sponsors, I have many GitHub sponsors. Maybe some of them are here in the audience, and I really, really appreciate my GitHub sponsors. Thank you. And among them, those three companies are big GitHub sponsors. BuildKai, Shopify, JetBrains. Thank you for those companies for sponsoring my activity. And the most importantly, the whole Ruby community, including you guys, help me a lot. Visit many countries. This is the Portuguese is my 30th country, 30th company that I stayed and visited. 30th. I really, really appreciated the help from you, and I let me see you enjoying Ruby. That is my greatest joy, greatest happiness. That is you see your. Let me see your face being happy. Thank you for now, and I will be around the venue for the fall conference so that catch me and chat with me. Thank you.